"I'll defend him," the courtroom murmured as the lawyer stormed out, slamming the door behind him. In his wake, stunned gasps filled the wood-paneled room, attorneys exchanged anxious glances, and the judge paused mid-gavel. At the podium stood Emma Clark, plain-faced, uniformed as a housemaid, clutching a stack of crisp notes. She looked at the millionaire businessman beside her, Michael Bennett, his tailored suit already too stiff with tension, his eyes wide with disbelief. No one expected her to speak, let alone step into a role meant for trained advocates. Michael had always seemed untouchable, heir to a fortune, polished public image, surrounded by lawyers. But the media frenzy had turned brutal when a hostile takeover deal backfired and allegations of insider trading followed. His team crumbled. His lead counsel, someone hired for his courtroom charisma, realized mid-trial that this case was larger than just money. In a moment of panic, he bolted. The defense table sat empty, a symbol of collapse. That's when Emma stood. She cleared her throat. "Your Honor, I will defend Mr. Bennett." Panic flashed in the judge's eyes. "You? You're—" He trailed off, scanning her crisp navy uniform. "Yes, Your Honor. My name is Emma Clark. I've been Mr. Bennett's assistant executive housekeeper for the past 2 years. But I know the facts. I know the man. And I know the truth." The courtroom bristled. The prosecution smirked. The press leaned forward. The judge leaned back. Michael swallowed hard. He'd hired Emma years ago for her integrity, not expecting her to become the only person brave enough to stand when everything fell apart. When he first found her reading stock reports between cleaning tasks, gestures of curiosity, he laughed it off. But she'd surprised him with research, memory for details, and loyalty that mattered. Now she faced a courtroom of suits, judges, and cameras. She flicked her notes. "Your Honor, Madam Prosecutor, you have painted my employer as greedy, reckless, and dishonest. But you've overlooked one key fact. Before this deal, Mr. Bennett donated millions to underfunded schools, invested in blue-collar towns, and personally mentored dozens of young entrepreneurs who had nowhere else to turn. Why didn't that show up in your file? Because those moments mattered more than million-dollar lead deals." Heads bobbed, journalists scribbled, the prosecutor's voice cut through. "This is not about philanthropy. It's about proof that Mr. Bennett acted on insider knowledge illegally." Emma nodded. "I anticipated that. So, with Mr. Bennett's permission," Michael cinched his jaw, "I asked him to produce the meeting logs, third-party emails, even his own credit card records during the alleged period. The evidence? No unusual spending, no offshore accounts, no communications with any of the parties mentioned in the prosecution's documents." She held up a manila folder, passed it to the judge. "All publicly recorded, all traceable, all clean." A ripple went through the room. The judge glanced at the folder, visibly measuring its weight. Emma's voice was steady now. More importantly, in that crucial week, he was in 3 different time zones. He was attending public school visits, keynote speeches, and a medical symposium, on record, with video. He could not have participated in insider meetings even if he wanted to. Files exchanged hands. Videos flickered on courtroom monitors. The prosecution stumbled. The judge leaned forward. "Exactly how did you uncover all this?" Emma met his eyes. "After the lawyer left, I spent last night triple-checking every timestamp, every document, every contradictory claim. This is my duty. Not because I owe him a job, but because I owe the truth to this court." She paused. The courtroom held its breath. Even the judge's pen hovered in mid-air. The defense table thawed. Michael exhaled, pain and relief mixing in his eyes. The courtroom's tension lifted as the weight of Emma's evidence and resolve sank in. The public, the press, even the judge looked on with new respect. Emma stepped aside and motioned for Michael. He rose slowly, his first real act of acknowledgement in days. He faced the jury and made a simple statement. "She's not my lawyer. She's better." Gasps echoed again, but this time with pride, not shock. The prosecution staggered for a rebuttal, but faltered under the revealed timeline. The judge paused proceedings and allowed Michael to give testimony, calm, honest, direct. He called Emma as a witness. She recounted every late-night call, every memo she'd read, every detail she dutifully noted. She spoke of his passion, not for profit, but for responsibility, of his commitment, never to evade, always to uplift. The jury heard it all. The courtroom listened. An hour later, the jury returned. The verdict, not guilty. Silence greeted the announcement. Then applause broke out, not for the millionaire, but for the woman in uniform who refused to stay invisible. Michael moved first, standing, offering her the traditional handshake. She shook his hand, but instead of a smile, she offered a nod that said everything. The courtroom rose with them, the judge declaring order only to make room for respect, not reprimand. Michael's lawyer finally re-entered, hat in hand, looking small as he muttered an apology. Emma waited. The judge addressed the courtroom. This court recognizes that integrity and courage can come from any walk of life. Dismissed. The gavel fell, with grace. Outside, the press hounded them. Michael spoke first, giving credit to Emma. "She's the only reason I stood upright today." Journalists circled her, but she stepped back. She said softly, "I didn't want attention. I wanted justice." Cameras flashed, headlines formed, "Housekeeper saves millionaire," "Maid turned defender," "Truth comes in uniform." Later, in the empty mansion where they both lived now, Emma in her professional space, Michael in his CEO office, he offered her a new title, Chief Ethics Officer for his foundation. She declined. "I'll stay who I am," she said, "but I'll always stand for what is right." The story didn't end in a draw. It ended in a transformation of a man, a maid, a courtroom, all forced to acknowledge that sometimes the most unlikely person carries the heaviest truth. So true justice doesn't come from titles or clothes. It comes from courage, honesty, and the quiet ones who refuse to stay silent. If this story moved you, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop a karma in the comments below. As we wrap up, don't forget to comment your country or city. We'd love to know where you're watching from. If this story stayed with you, don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments.